All right. Well, it's good once again to be back out here at Carelli's of Boulder for Buffs Prime Time. Right here Thursday nights from 7 until 8 o'clock. We always invite you to come on out and join us. Enjoy some great bus talk, some wonderful Italian food, or you can listen in on the Colorado Basketball Network, or we're streaming on the CU Bus Facebook page as well. I'm voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Coming up in the next hour, our players segment tonight. Frida Foreman is going to join us from the women's team. She'll be out here, the all-time three-point leader in Colorado basketball history, although she's been on the shelf the last couple of ball games with a little bit of an ankle injury, I guess. And JR Payne will be here. And yes, he did not gain hair. That's not Tad Boyle sitting next to us here. We've got the associate head coach of the Buffaloes, Mike Roan's joining us. Tad is actually down at, what do they call it? Is it Ball Arena? Yeah, I was going to say Pepsi Center. That shows my age there. Ball Arena. The Orlando Magic are in town. I mean, Tristan De Silva is in town tonight. And so Tad and some of the players are down there with watching that ball game. Got to say hi to Tristan. And so we always give Tad one show a year where he doesn't have to show up. And most of the time, you're the guy that gets called upon. So congratulations.
I appreciate it.
That's a heavy burden you've got.
Hey, I appreciate the opportunity. I'll take it any chance I can.
He just shows up for the Italian food here at Carelli's. Buffs coming off the loss, tough one yesterday at Utah. That was a very competitive ball game for, 37, 36 minutes, something like that. And the last 4 minutes got away from the Buffaloes.
It did. It's kind of been happening a little bit. But, we're right there at the end on the road.
Yeah.
And, one of these days we're going to get over the hump.
The game last night, again, the inconsistency issue, Mike. We talked with Tad about it so many times, and here the Buffaloes are with another one with just kind of the up and down performance. We've gotten Tad's thoughts on it. What's your explanation?
Yeah, the obvious is the obvious.
Right.
We shoot ourselves in the foot a little bit at times, as everybody can tell, and until we can correct those things, we're kind of beating ourselves to a certain degree, and that's what we got to start somehow eliminating, because there's some things that we do really well, and the guys are still fighting really hard, and they're trying to do everything we ask them to do. It just we're at a point kind of mentally, with the confidence thing where we're going to have to figure that out, and the guys are just going to have to keep believing, and if we can cut down on the turnovers and take care of our defensive lapses a little bit. And I thought we did that for the most part, last night. We had 4 turnovers at halftime. And,
right.
And then, the second half.
And we're plus rebounding at halftime?
Yeah. And then it just kind of flipped a little bit.
Right.
And so it always helps to make some shots. So I was going to ask Frida tonight if she'd suit up for us, because I know she could make some shots, but Frida's hurt. So
that's right.
We got to find a way to get our guys to make some shots. But
take us inside right now. I mean, you've got to coach. You've got to correct. You want to stay positive. You have to get critical at times. Take us inside about what the conversations are like internally.
Wow, this is what you get paid to coach for, right?
Right.
It's easy when, everything's going good and you're winning a lot of games, and this is where coaching really comes in, and we're coaching from the neck up a lot right now.
Yeah, I bet.
Today we spent a lot of time with the guys, academic meetings and stuff. They had the day off. We've been going strong here for quite a while. And so we're just coaching the mental side of it a little bit, just always making sure we got a pulse on, the team, the locker room, and trying to make sure guys understand that we believe in them. And, the only people that are going to fix our problems are the ones in the locker room.
That's right.
And so, in times like this, Coach may have said it. You've probably heard, his quote, tough times reveal character, and losing reveals it. And I think our guys are showing a lot of character in terms of just how they keep cheering for each other. And, I was watching the bench all night and watching it again on film today. We're making our runs and guys are up clapping for each other, and, they're pulling for each other. It's just we're in a tough time, and, we stick together, and eventually, we're gonna get one. And I think Saturday might be the day.
When you're in a stretch like this, there's a lot of noise outside, right? And players have got to deal with it. That's part of, they pay attention to what's going on publicly. Internally, does it begin to build upon itself, or is it you guys do your best to kind of stave that off a little bit?
We do our best to stave it off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, coach is not a social media guy, so as coaches, you're kind of used to the criticism, and we can handle it. But young guys, it's really hard because they struggle to not be on their phones, and so we talk about it a lot, and I think the longer it's gone, the more they're like putting that thing away and just like, hey, let's try to figure out how we can put our focus on, some things that we can control, and just block out the negativity, because it's there, and for due reason. I mean, we're in uncharted territory for us in terms of, just a little bit of this losing streak. Our team is not used to it, even though we got some new guys, and certainly our staff is not. And that's like we talked about earlier. That's where your coaching really comes in.
At tough times, you rely upon leadership, right? Who does this team rely upon? Who does it fall back on? I think, and we've talked about it a little bit with Tad at different times, Mike. And that is, over the years, Josh Scott, Evan Batty, McKinley Wright, Spencer Dinwiddie. Who does this team kind of fall back on at this point?
We're searching for that a little bit, but the obvious ones, are probably Julian and Andre. I would say, they're the older guys. They're their starting backcourt. They've been in the wars of the the Pac-12, and obviously Julian's been with us, for 4 years. So those are the guys that have been in the battles, and they got a lot of weight on their shoulders trying to play well. And I think if you asked either one of them, they probably wouldn't say they're setting the world on fire with how they're playing individually. And so sometimes, when you're not playing as well as you're capable of, it's a little harder to get outside yourself and lead a little bit. But those are the guys, without a doubt. And we do have some older guys, but our other older guys, or maybe the grad transfer 1-year guys that
they're brand new.
They're brand new, and they're just trying to hang on every day and just follow a little bit as well. But Julian and Andre, I would say they're the biggest voices.
I'd imagine you've always got to pay more attention to the young guys, right? The freshmen, the young players, and even with Hassan and Bangot at this point in time, they're not veteran guys. They're in their second season. Really, last year neither of them played a whole lot, to be honest with you. So do you spend extra time kind of attending to kind of the mental aspect for those young fellas, Sebi and guys like that?
Yeah. For them, they're just trying to make sure they keep their heads above water and worry a little bit more about themselves.
Yeah.
But I've been really proud of those three guys you mentioned, Bangot and Hassan and even Sebi now. Sebi's moved himself into the starting rotation a little bit, deservedly so. And they're all going to be special players. And I think BD, we call him BD, is his voice has gotten stronger and stronger as this season has gone on. And the guys really listen to him. And so, I'm encouraged by what those guys are trying to do, because, those guys bring it every day.
One thing I'm waiting for with Bangot Dak, because he is, you guys love watching him, don't you? I mean, he is, the upside for BD is really exciting to think about. And I'm waiting for that moment with him, because it happens with all athletes at some point in time, when things slow down for him. Because right now he still gets sped up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But the way he is physically, and he is 6'11", and he's like a pipe cleaner, for goodness sakes. He's 185 pounds. But the way he leaps and what he can do and his length and everything, when that kind of clicks, he's going to be awful fun to watch, isn't he?
I think he's pretty fun to watch right now.
Yes, he is, yeah.
But he does have his lapses, and most of those are like just physical things.
Sure.
And from the start of this season till now, he's made huge strides, and he's learning how to be physical when he's not very strong yet.
Yes.
With his legs and stuff, and that's where Coach Engelhart has to get his deal going a little bit. But
whenever he makes a mistake, I blame it on Steve on the air. We make sure Steve hears about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's listening, so I had to get that in there.
He hears. Believe me, his brother's listening half the time.
Yeah,
as light as BD is, being that he is 6'11", 185, 190 pounds tops, how does he confront big bodies. Okay, he doesn't have the physics are just going to tell you he's not going to go in there and bang with a 270-pound guy like we see in this league. How does he work around the fact that he's giving up, sometimes 70, 80 pounds?
Yeah, that's leverage just getting lower for him, and we talked about that today a little bit with him, and he knows that, using his brain and his quickness a little bit more.
Yeah.
And he was matched up last night. Those guys from Utah were huge,
Yeah,
big,
bodies.
strong guys, old guys.
Yeah.
Three, some of them 4 years older than BD is, and Hassan as well. So, you think about him in 3 more years, and you're like, oh wow.
Right.
Now he's never going to be just this, 280-pound physical presence. He's going to be a guy that's going to just have to play with leverage a little lower, and then use his speed and quickness. And the one thing about him is if he can stay between him and his man, he's a presence because he's always got a chance to block their shot. And he made some of their post players travel last night with his quickness, and they're trying to get him closer to the basket and overpower him physically. And he just uses quickness, and he's learning. He's really learning in that regard. And so I'm really excited about his future. And the light's going to turn on here pretty soon.
Right.
And then you're just gonna be like, oh my God!
Because you get the sense with him, he's playing on instinct and athleticism right now.
Yes.
And when it kind of clicks with him, and he begins to think the game and understand the angles and the leverage, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. This weekend, by the way, the Buffs have got number 5 Houston coming to town. It's a 2:00 game on Saturday afternoon. Scott and I are going to hit the air at 1:30 with the Buffs warm-up pregame show. We'll go and take our first time out. We're here at Carelli's. It's Buffs Prime Time. One more segment with Mike, JR Payne, free to form and still to come. This is Colorado basketball from their field. University of Colorado basketball is brought to us by Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. Modelo brewed for full-time Buffs fans. Back here on Buffs Primetime, it's Carelli's of Boulder out here on Thursday nights from 7 until 8 o'clock. Always a great spot to come on by before or after an ECU basketball game or anytime. Best restaurant in the Boulder. They've been our host here for a long time for Buffs Primetime. Free to Foreman still to come. Also, JR Payne will be joining us. They had a nice win again yesterday. They won 4 in a row. Talking with Associate Head Coach Mike Rohn here for one more segment. We were touched a little bit on turnovers. I want you to kind of explain to fans how you guys are addressing that, what kind of things you're working on in practice to help these guys kind of get over what has been a kind of a persistent problem this season.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's fundamentals 101. It's
Yeah.
kind of like going back to junior high a little bit, and
Sure.
I say that in all reality.
Yeah.
We did do a lot of that the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just basic pivots, basic passing.
Okay.
With some pressure, and it sounds a little boring for a college guy that's supposed to be really good at it, but fundamentals is what you go back to. And so I was watching with or Coach Manning was watching with Ruff today a little bit, and the exact drill that we did the 2 days leading up was kind of a post feeding drill,
Okay.
dribbling over and feeding the post, and Ruff had one late in the game that was big in transition, and I was just like, hey, that's the drill we were doing the
That's
last
right.
2 days.
Yeah.
He knew it, and we're just at that point where, I think our guys, you don't want them to be overly cautious in terms of making, good plays for their teammates. And I think we're kind of at a point where they're cautious and sometimes overly cautious when we're missing, easy baskets because we're just afraid to pass it. And there's a fine line there where you got to trust your instincts, and the game's moving so fast. But we just go back to fundamentals. That's all you can do.
Well, you want to think the game, but you don't want to overthink the game, right?
Yeah, it's really not that. Coach
No,
Price says
no.
it all the time. It's not that hard. It's just confidence sometimes, and then the bugaboo of, oh man, here it comes again, and then one guy sees it, and then it happens to the next guy, and it's kind of like shooting. When you start making them, everybody's making them, and right now we're just when we're taking care of it, and we only have 4, we're good. Once the train starts going, it's like, man, do we sub or
Yep.
you
Horses
just,
are out of the barn. Here it comes. Yeah. Remember the great scene in Boulder, right? It's an easy game. We throw the ball, we catch the ball, we hit the ball, right? Same kind of thing you guys have got to deal with this team. You mentioned Sebastian Ronchik a little while ago. We had him on the program a week or 2 ago. Fascinating kid, by the way, number
he's
one.
amazing.
But his skill set is awful special, isn't it? In terms of his upside.
People, I mean, he's going to be one of the very special ones to wear a Buff uniform. And this morning I finally got in about 9:15, and literally at 9:30 here he comes, and
Really?
he's got he's ready to work out. I'm like, Sebby, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I want to work out. You got time? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to finish watching the film, but I'm like, yeah,
Sure.
let's go.
Yeah.
And he worked out for 45 minutes to an hour, and did a lot of shooting. It wasn't anything hard, but just the fact that we got home really late, and he's there 9:30 the next morning ready to
That
figure
says
out
something.
something. It says a lot about him, and he's just going to keep going the right way as the season continues to go. And he's a better kid than he is a player. He's smart, and so I'm really excited about him and where he's going. And he moves so well for a tall guy. I mean, he's 6'11", and he's guarding perimeter guys. And
it's funny. I was speaking to a group here not long ago, and I made some comment. And the guy comes up to me after, and he said, I don't see it. What are you talking about? And I said, every once in a while, he does something on the court, and you go, wow, that was special.
Yeah.
A crossover, the way he moves his feet, those kind of things. He brings a skill set. I mean, that's you got a long way to go now. Don't get me wrong here, but that's an NBA skill set he's got right there, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I coached Jabari. I coached Tristan at the same age.
That's right.
And as much as I love both of those guys, and I think they're special players. I'm not saying Sebby's going to end up making it to the NBA
Got a chance, though.
you got to work really hard. But at this point, as a freshman, what he can do with his size and perimeter skill, it's ahead of both of them as freshmen.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe. You mentioned Tristan. I said earlier that they're playing the Nuggets here tonight. Are you surprised by what he's done already in the NBA?
I'm not at all.
Yeah.
And mostly because he was old. He was an older
Yes.
rookie, and he had just continued to evolve and develop, and he was such an intelligent player and skill player that and with his size, that's kind of the NBA
Right.
prototype. And he went to a great team with a really good coach, Coach Mosley, and veteran players, and so he can just kind of fit in and blend in into their culture. And so, no, it doesn't surprise me. It helped, if you guys got hurt and he got to get in there, but
he took advantage of the opportunity.
Took advantage, and he was ready mentally. He was at our Central Florida game, got a chance to spend time with him, and he was just talking about how hard, game in the NBA and getting ready. But didn't surprise me at all with him, especially, being the age that he was. And, KJ got the start.
His first start last night. I guess he had 15 points, 5 or 6 rebounds. I think went 3 of 3 from downtown. It was great to see.
I didn't get to hear his interview,
Yeah.
but he was such a good interview all the time anyway. 'Cause he'll make you laugh.
He never lacks for confidence.
Not at all.
KJ?
No, KJ never lacked confidence. It was made him special, made him good. So that was nice to see. And
all right, Houston Cougars coming up this weekend. If there's a better defensive team in college football, I don't know college basketball. I don't know who
they might
are.
be one of the better football teams the way they play.
They might be. I mean, there's a coaching friend of mine I texted and said, "Hey, you had a chance to scout them. What do you think?" And he said, "That is a team of grown men you're going to face on Saturday." Tell us a little bit about Houston. What makes them special defensively?
What makes them special is that they're really old and they've all been there for quite a while. So they're really connected. They know the system, and they're just that helps. They're very connected. They can play off each other really well. But just the size and athleticism and physicality that they have when if you see the game or come to the game and you see them, you're gonna be like, wow, that's hopefully what we look like in a couple years. They just play for a coach that's all about defense and toughness, and so they spend a lot of time rebounding and hitting guys in practice, and so that's what makes them special defensively. But they are tall and athletic, and they're going to foul a lot, and it's just a matter of if the refs are going to call enough of the fouls. I think Coach Sampson's deal is they can't call them all. So if we foul 35 times, they're only going to call 20-some of them. So that's what we're in for.
But this is the kind of game that all these young guys that get out there, guys like Beatty and Hassan, and you better be strong with the basketball. You better be secure with it. You know the contact's coming. And so that's going to be of a premium in a game like this, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you can come tell the guys that tomorrow.
Can I?
Because it would just be a different voice. But they know.
Yeah.
We actually talk about them all summer.
Right.
When we're preparing in our practices and our summer access with the team is like, hey, this is what it's going to have to look like to beat one of the best teams in our league. And so, they know what they're getting into. It's just a matter of being in that moment. And so it's an exciting thing. I mean, we beat number 2 in the country earlier this year, I think. And we're at home, and you just let it all hang out. And we put Coach Gray in charge of this one because he really wanted to scout him. So.
Well, I tell you what, it's good you're getting on the easy portion of the schedule now because you got number 5 Houston, then at Kansas, and so this is the cupcake portion of the schedule. But hey, by the way, tomorrow night also they're honoring Jay Humphreys tomorrow night as well. The Buffs great. He'll be going over the Wall of Honor up there on the northwest side of the building, and so that's kind of nice.
Buff.
Yeah, so he'll be here as well. Well, good luck this weekend. Thanks for pinch hitting tonight.
Hey, I appreciate any opportunity to get here.
All right, Mike Rohn, everybody. Coming up next, we're going to talk with our player segment, and that is Frida Foreman is going to join us, a outstanding shooter. Then we'll talk to JR Payne as well. They're coming off a nice win yesterday as well at the Event Center. We're here at Carelli's. It's Buffs Primetime. Back in a moment. This is Colorado basketball from Airfield. Well, that's Corey Lopez, who's the voice of CU women's basketball. Frida Foreman has hit more three-pointers than anybody in Colorado basketball history, men's or women's side. 300. She's right there at 300 right now. Missed the last couple of ball games with an injury. By the way, our program brought to us by Molson Coors. Coors Light, choose chill, proud partner of Colorado Athletics. The grad student from Denmark is joining us here. Buffs have won 4 in a row, including the basketball game yesterday. They're on the road against Iowa State this weekend. 300 three-pointers. That's a lot of shooting right there, isn't it?
Yeah, love a good even number. So I said, that's it.
Well, bring us up to date health-wise, right? How are you feeling? What's going on? And when are we going to get you back in the court?
Yeah, I'm feeling better and better. But,
Okay.
you know, I know before it was mentioned that it was good that Houston was old. I don't feel like this is an advantage right now that I'm old. But I think my
Right.
body's just trying to recover from a whole lot of basketball games. So, yeah, I'm gonna be back for sure.
Okay.
So we're just hoping it's sooner rather than later.
All right.
Yeah.
You got to remember, old is a relative term.
Oh yeah,
All right.
old college basketball
Yes.
wise.
Yeah, you may feel
older
old.
than my teammates, not
And
older than you.
I
in
won't
here.
say. Wow, that was. Because they love you, they're clapping. If they didn't
Yeah,
like
thanks.
you, now they would have taken that as a shot right there. But well, good. I'm glad we're going to get you back soon. Boy, our team's playing well right now.
Yeah. We had a 4-game stretch of road games that we dropped all of them, and then I think we've really gone into February with like a mindset of like, all right, it's now or never. Like, we got to get some things done. This is when everyone is really tired. Every team in the country is tired right now. Everyone's beat up, including us. But these games right now are super important. So we're just really approaching them with that, like, kind of, it's a they're a must win, and it's now or never.
It really does become the dog
yeah.
days of the season once you get to February, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
it feels like
Yeah.
you're living the same day over and
Yeah.
over and over again with school and basketball and practice and all that. But
Yeah.
but just seeing it with kind of fresh eyes of like, it's just this month of February we have a lot of games against a lot of teams that are kind of in the same position as us,
Right.
trying to claw their way to the postseason. So yeah, that's just how we're approaching it, and there's not a lot of games left to do that. So.
And then this Big 12 schedule is a little different than what we were used to in the Pac-12, isn't it? I mean, you're kind of in and out of town nonstop.
Yeah. We've only had one of those short road trips, which was nice.
Yeah.
And we've also had 2 really long ones, which were hard. And I think it's very different than Pac-12, where you have the Friday, Sunday, you have like a week to build up, and then you
Travel
peak,
partners.
and then you can kind of calm down. Now it's like every time you return from a game, you're 2 days out.
That's right.
So you kind of stay at the same level. So I think that's been pretty different.
So being that you're a spectator right now, are you turning into a coach? Are you helping out and directing some players and critiquing a little bit, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm part-time, swimmer, skier, all the stuff I have to do, and then part-time coach, and I think just locker room general, and just trying to do the little things that I know, the coaches can't do because they don't have the access I have to my teammates. So, yeah, just pouring in confidence, seeing the things I see, but really just being a voice of, positivity, energy, because
Encouragement. All
it's
those
tough
things.
to go through the stretch right now without one of your starters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just trying to give all the energy I can, even though I can't be out there.
Has JR given you a whistle for practice? Are you allowed to blow the whistle in practice or not?
Oh, no, I'm
No.
not blowing a whistle. I don't. My teammates, they can be mad at my coaches for doing that. I want to be, that's not my job.
In the good cop, bad cop. You're the good cop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the good
So,
cop out there. I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
that's my job right now.
When you think about 300 three-pointers, I mean, that's an awful lot.
Yeah, it is.
When did you become a great shooter? When did you think to yourself, you know what, I'm a pretty darn good shooter?
Yeah, I think ever since I started playing basketball, which I did when
Yeah.
I was 2 years old, so I
Right.
don't really remember ever not playing basketball because I have 3 older siblings that all play.
Sure.
My mom and dad played.
Yep.
My mom coached me since I was very little, so I've always just loved doing technique stuff and doing it right. That's how I do everything in life. I like doing it right. So I think just with shooting, I just always had really good, technique, and kind of worked on doing it the way that felt like it looked like something that was good. And then once I came here to Boulder, me and JR was just talking about it, that I had been in quarantine for 2 weeks and came into the team that had already been together all summer because I came during COVID. And I just started shooting, and I was just hitting a lot. And my teammates were like, whoa, you can really shoot it. And I don't think I had ever thought of myself as like a shooter. I just knew I was pretty good at it. So obviously being in like a more system-based offense and in college, you grow a little more into a specific role, and this is just something I'm pretty good at.
So you're good. And Jarrett, in fact, talked about when you went over 300, she and I talked about it here, and she was talking, and I asked her about you having the green light. At what point did you feel during your tenure here that you had the green light? I mean, I imagine not as a freshman. You probably didn't think, okay, I don't have the green light. Oh, did you? Oh, you did. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I think it was, I actually remember it very vividly. It was like we had been practicing just like, the season hadn't started yet my freshman year. And the coaches came in with like, it looked like a box score, but like just from practice. And I was the person that had taken the most shots in like our live segments. And I didn't think that was very good because I was a freshman, so I didn't want to step on anyone's toes.
Yeah.
But I could also see I was making a lot of shots. And JR also like was walking through some plays and was like, we want our best shooter here, and that's Frida. And so I kind of caught on that I had the green light pretty early, but I think it's something I've gotten more comfortable with during my years here,
So would it be fair, being that you had the most shots, can we refer to you as a gunner? Are you a gunner when you play, right? You're obviously a great shooter.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like I try to take the right shots, not just spray them, but, if I feel good, I feel good. So, yeah.
You touched on technique a little while ago. Is that the key to being a great shooter? It's all about technique, or is there a mentality that goes into it? How do you become a great shooter?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously a combination of all those things. If you don't have good technique and the ball doesn't go in, then you can have all the mentality you want, but if you're at 10%, then that's pretty rough, and your coach probably won't play you or want you to shoot. So, I think one thing is technique and also footwork. I mean, I work a lot on my footwork and being able to get into my shooting motion really quickly from different, positions on the floor. Sometimes I only have a split second to really look at the rim, so getting used to that. And then, you need to have the mentality because, I go games sometimes where I don't make a three or stretches of games where I don't make a three or not shooting very well. And it's, being a shooter is not always about just making it, but like having the mentality that the next one is the one I'm going to make, or just at least hunting your shots because that's what your team needs.
Do you have a favorite spot? Is there a spot on the court around the semicircle there that you think, okay, that's the one I like? If I had my choice, that's where I want to be.
Good question. I mean, I like being open.
Right.
So that's my favorite.
No, I get
matter
that.
where it is. If I'm open, that's really nice. It's rare, but it happens. So that's what I'll say. Just being open.
Just being open, huh?
Yeah.
I know some people are corner shooters and some like the top of the key, and so it really doesn't matter to you, huh?
No.
All right. Just give me the ball.
I can see the rim, and
Yeah.
I'm close enough.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me.
This team, you're having fun. I know you're sitting watching right now, but this group, the way it's kind of gelled and developed and matured, you feel real good about where the squad is right now?
I think so. I think this was kind of what I imagined going into this year, that it would take a while, and once we hit January, February, it would hopefully start to feel like we were gelling together and, reads were happening and things were happening that weren't necessarily scripted, but just happened because we know each other. I think this group has been, it's hard to bring new people together and be a good basketball team immediately, but everyone is super receptive, and it's been pretty easy to lead this group in that way because people want to buy in. So even if there are problems or issues or whatever it is, I can address them because people will listen and actually want to get better and want to get the team better. So that's been really great with this group, and also makes it easier to move quicker, through that. So
Buffalo's on the road against Iowa State on Saturday afternoon. That's a 3:00 game this weekend. All right, do your treatment, take your vitamins, whatever it takes. Let's get you back in the court. You have been phenomenal for this program. Want to see you back very quick, all right?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Freda Foreman, 300 career three-pointers for the Colorado Buffaloes as you're at Iowa State on Saturday afternoon at 3:00. We're here at Carelli's, his most prime time. JR Payne, the head coach who gave her the green lights. She's going to join us after a quick timeout here. This is Colorado basketball from their field. The Buffaloes get the win yesterday. 4 in a row for Colorado. They're now 16-6 on the campaign and 7-4 in the Big 12 conference play. JR Payne, who, by the way, I hadn't thought about it. You and Frida, I know you like her a lot, but you don't have to wear matching boots, do you? What's the deal with you guys?
Yeah,
Huh?
it's a thing in our program right now. Yeah,
That's quite a fashion statement you got going on there.
It's something. Yeah, it's something. Seal Berry is in town and announced the game yesterday, and she
Yes.
said we lead the country in boots and scooters, which is
good.
not something we're super proud of, but it is true right now.
It is great to have the legendary Seal Berry here tonight. Seal, thanks for coming out here, Coach. Appreciate it. Good to have her. You talk a little basketball with her every once in a while?
I love to. Yeah, I love, and it's not just basketball, it's just Seal's presence. Like,
Yeah.
I always feel like, I don't know, sometimes coaching is very isolating.
Yes.
You know, you feel like it's you against the world and you're trying to protect your team and it's us against the world. And, you know, whenever Seal is around, I feel like I have someone that is in my corner.
They've sat there. They know the ins and outs, the pressures, all the things that go along
all of
with
it. And I
yeah.
love having Seal at our games and just being around.
All right. You guys
Yeah.
have got 4 games in a row right now. What's going well? What are you doing well right now?
Well, I don't know, in some ways it feels like we're surviving because as we, you know, just saw Frida, our leading scorer, and, you know, Super Senior is out. And we've just, Kennedy Sanders has been out and a few, you know, just a lot of, I don't know, in and out. We have people playing games that aren't practicing because of injury. And so in some senses, it feels like we're surviving. In other ways, it feels like we're really thriving because, you know, some players are playing really well. Like Kendall Wetta has been so good and so aggressive and so steady. And Jade Masagayo, same thing, just so consistent. So a couple of the freshmen are really coming along. Tabitha Betson, Grace Oliver have been so solid for freshmen. So in a lot of ways, I think we're doing as well as we can be.
Jade Masagawa had, 14 points, 10 rebounds yesterday. She put together a double-double for the Buffs, led Colorado in the victory. Versatile player.
No. She had 14 and 10 at halftime.
Oh, at halftime, I beg your pardon.
Yeah,
she had about 19, I think.
19 and 14, career
Yeah.
high in rebounds and stuff. So.
Well, she needs to be better in the second half then after having 14
I know,
and 10.
right? With
That's
4 and
20. That's
4.
28 and 20. Can't she put that together?
Maybe next
yeah.
time.
Yeah, but a great versatile player, isn't she?
Oh, she's incredible. From the minute she stepped on campus, you know, not just the coaches, but her teammates have been telling her, you're really good. And she's so humble and so kind of shy and quiet. And she kind of says, oh, shucks, you know, but now she's playing so well that people are asking her, now do you believe? And she's kind of like, well, yeah, maybe I'm pretty good, you know.
You never want to see great players not be in the lineup, but it does give opportunities, don't you?
Sure.
You're finding some of these younger players and players that are new to the program are coming in and getting minutes now and proving themselves.
Yeah, and doing really well, like playing like veterans, coming in with confidence, hitting big shots, making free throws, getting great defensive stops. So I think it's really good for us in the long run.
Yeah, I know you want to get her back as soon as possible. Frida was outstanding. I mean, she's you know, it's kind of fun with what we do when you see players come in. You meet them as 18-year-olds, and they're young women, and now she comes up and just handles herself so well up here.
Oh,
What is going to be the legacy that Frida Foreman leaves here at CU?
I mean, Frida just strives for excellence in absolutely everything she does. She's someone that, honestly, from day one, but certainly now 5 years later, I mean, I would trust her with my life. I would trust her with my children's lives. Like, she is just an incredible human being. You know, she represents our program so well. You know, she's, you know, just barely under a 4.0 in 5 years of not exercise science, environmental science, and now doing a master's in business analytics. And she's great in our community. She leads our community service. And she's one of the best players to ever put on a uniform. Yeah. So it's been an incredible ride. I will not think about senior night right now because some tears will be shed.
Hey, by the way, speaking of kind of legacy and whatnot, was it the last home game where you had the 50-year celebration?
Yes.
And that was a huge event. That was on, Saturday night, I guess you had the big event.
It was Saturday, yeah. And we had 100-plus alums come back. We celebrated 50 years. We really highlighted our 2002 Elite Eight team. Yeah. Almost all members came back, coaches, support staff.
That's cool.
Really some great events, and it was an incredible weekend.
And important for your current team to see that kind of thing,
Definitely, definitely. And to be able to spend time with them and talk about legacy and what it meant, you know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago to be a Buff was really special.
What's changed, how it's grown over the course of time. The fan, we've mentioned this before, the fan support has been awesome so far this season. All right, you got the first of 2 on the road coming up now.
Yes.
You're at Iowa State on Saturday. Give us a little thought about Iowa State. What are they all about?
Well, a lot of you will know Audie Crooks. She's one of the highest scoring post players in the country. Really an anomaly, just incredible hands, can move. Really good. They shoot the 3 as well as any team in the country. So really, it's we've got to guard the 3-point line. Okay. We recognize that some of their players, they're going to get theirs and they're going to score, but we cannot let sort of the peripheral players go off. And so the focus has got to be, 1 through 5, lock in, guard the 3-point line, and get out of there with a dub.
Are you kind of finding with this squad as you're working your way through the season? We talked with Fried about getting kind of the dog days of the season right now. Is this team doing a good job of staying dialed in?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it is hard. Frieda talked a little bit about the schedule. The schedule is really difficult.
Yeah.
And for all of us, we're learning the new schedule and how do you navigate it. I brought 24 cupcakes to practice today to try to, one, I was thanking our managers for all the work that they do, but also just to kind of bring some levity, to the end of practice because it is this time of the year is difficult.
There's a certain sportscaster who would like some cupcakes tonight.
I know. They ate them all. I didn't even get one.
All I'm saying is we would have been nice to have a cupcake or two.
Invite me back next week. I'll bring some.
You're always invited to come back, of course. We'll get ready. Big one. First of 2 in a row at Iowa State this weekend and then at Utah the following couple days later.
Yeah.
So good luck on Saturday, and let's get another win. Make it 5 in a row.
Thank you. Let's go.
Let's hear for JR Payne. Again, that's a 3 o'clock game on Saturday afternoon in Ames, Iowa. Corey and Carol will hit the air at 2:30. On the men's side, 2 o'clock, it's the Buffs. And number 5, Houston at the Event Center will hit the air at 1:30, 2 o'clock with the tip-off. Let's hear it for Carelli's tonight. For hosting the program once again, it's Buffs Prime Time, and this has been Colorado Basketball from Learfield. Thanks for joining us. We're back again next Thursday with another show. Good night.